Coming up on the Poke Report, our crew hits the road for this week's football matchup in Provo, Utah.
Cowgirl softball adds a unique piece.
And our very own Jared Rosenblatt sit down with the opposition.
All this and more coming up on the special edition of the Poke Report.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Poke Report from Provo, Utah. I'm Steve Spears.
And I'm Peyton Schmidt. As you can see, we are in a new location. Today's show is coming to you from the BYU School of Communications Journalism's News Lab.
Shout out to BYU hosts for opening their doors and rolling out the red carpet. But Peyton, we've been in Utah for the past few days. What's been your favorite part so far?
You know, I think so far my favorite thing has been just the hospitality that BYU has given us. It's been absolutely amazing. But also our dinner at Tucano's last night. That was fire. What about yours, Steve?
Tucano's has been by far my favorite part of the trip. But you guys, y'all quit. Everybody tapped out. Nobody was, hanging with me. It was crazy. And Dee Dee stole my brownie.
While we get to be in this beautiful city, what's not so beautiful is Oklahoma State's play on the fields. The Cowboys are trying to put a stop on a disastrous start in conference play. Our reporter, Molly Nicholson, has more on the Poke season to this point.
Oklahoma State is midway through its season after a bye week this past weekend. After one of the rockiest starts to conference play the Cowboys have seen in years, the question of if the Pokes would see 2 straight Big 12 championship appearances quickly turned to if the Pokes would be making it to a bowl game at all. The last losing season for the Pokes was in 2005. The first season under current head coach Mike Gundy. Here is more from Gundy about how the team has spent its week off.
We just stress the things that we feel like that we need to get accomplished. We need to be a better run-fit defense, minimize a few of the big plays that we've gotten, and then continue to work offensively and rushing the football and being good at our basic play action passes.
Last year, the Cowboys had a similar situation going into its week off. Prior to their bye week, they had lost 2 straight games to unranked teams. However, the bye week was arguably the turning point for the Pokes last season.
Thanks, Molly. The Pokes returned to the field following their bye week and hopefully are able to pick up their first conference win.
Peyton, you know who isn't having a disastrous start to our season? Our host, BYU.
Now, we know our stuff in sports, but since we are here, we have our man Ron from BYU to break it down for us.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks so much for having me.
So, Ron, in your opinion, what has gone so well for BYU this season?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is the defense. They had 8 takeaways at home. They have 5 of those takeaways inside the opponent's 30-yard line, which is closest to the student section. So it gets really rowdy up there in LaVelle Edwards Stadium. So it might be some trouble for Oklahoma State. We'll see. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Jake Retzlaff has been playing great. Touchdowns left and right.
Ron, you mentioned Jake Retzlaff, and he's had a terrific start to the season so far, and he has a great story. The Poke Report got exclusive access for a one-on-one interview conducted by our very own Jared Rosenblatt with the BYU quarterback.
Brigham Young University, surrounded by beautiful mountains, filled with luscious buildings, and state-of-the-art athletic facilities. BYU's endowment for 2023 was $3.1 billion. The median income of a student's family that attends BYU is $124,000. Jake Retzlaff did not come from riches. Growing up in Riverside, California, Retzlaff had to scratch and claw his way from the JUCO level to leading BYU's football team at its most important position.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey, there's no doubt. Junior college caused by COVID-19 was shut everything down where I'm from back in California. And so the journey through junior college taught me a lot, man. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love my time in junior college. I love my teammates in junior college. You know, in junior college, it's like real life kind of hits you in the face when you're driving. My first junior college, I was driving an hour and a half each way, and just kind of eating 2 meals a day, staying 2 nights a week at my uncle's house, 1 night a week at my old high school coach's house, and so just kind of being all over the place, built some resilience in me and built some, fire. And it really, you kind of ask yourself, do you love this game? And I knew it from the beginning that I loved it enough to persevere through it all. And then getting this opportunity here at BYU has been special, and it's been a blessing. And like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way.
To not only go from 1 but 2 JUCOs and rise the ranks from second stringer to injury replacement starter to become the full-time starter at BYU, Jake Retzlaff's journey has been incredible, and yet somehow all of that is not even the craziest part of his experience at BYU. BYU is dominated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 98% of the student body identifies as Mormon. Retzlaff is of Jewish faith. He is the first starting quarterback in BYU history to be Jewish, and is one of 3 Jewish students at BYU. To understand the importance of what Retzlaff is doing here at BYU, it's best if he tells you himself.
They see a Jewish kid in the spotlight, and maybe I can inspire another Jewish kid somewhere.
For this Jewish kid right here, it's hard not to look at Retzlaff and see him anything other than an inspiration. Jake and his Cougars are getting ready to set to take on Oklahoma State in what will sure be an electric game. On a cold and windy night here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, for the Poke Report, I'm Jared Rosenblatt.
Thanks for that, Jared, and a huge shout out to the BYU Communications staff for giving us this unprecedented access and experience. And of course, shout out Jake Retzlaff. Coming up, Ron will be back to give us his picks for the games of the week.
When we return, Cowgirl soccer is trending up and Cowgirl softball continues to dominate fall ball.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars. Like fresh-packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back to the Poke Report. And Peyton, I'm relieved to see that OSU soccer has righted the ship.
That's right, Steve. After a slow start to conference play, the Cowgirls are looking like their old selves again, and just in time for the Big 12 tournament. Our own Grant Noyes has more on Cowgirl soccer.
With soccer season nearing the final whistle, the Oklahoma State Cowgirls are marching ahead to their spot in the Big 12 tournament. With 2 recent victories over Houston and Cincinnati, the Cowgirls only have 3 remaining games to prepare for the tournament. Goalkeeper Grace Gordon says the battle has only begun.
Yeah, we focus a lot on the big moments because, every game's tough here and now. It doesn't matter the record, doesn't matter the past. It's a Big 12 game. So just focusing on our big moments defensively, offensively, and, if we win that side of things, we can put the game away and just, keeping our tempo through each phase of the game.
The Cowgirls have won their past 3 matches and have outscored their opponents 7-0. Cowgirl forward Gracie Boydle says if they continue to play like this, they'll continue to find their stride.
As long as we continue to keep that confidence going into the next game and we keep doing what we're supposed to do and focusing on those big moments like Grace said, I think that we'll be fine. Our confidence will continue to grow.
The Cowgirls host 2 of their 3 final matches at home with their season finale against the #1 team in the Big 12, TCU. The Cowgirls will seek to climb the standings as they currently sit in 4th place with an overall record of 11-2-3. And for the Poke Report, I'm Grant Noyes.
Thanks for that, Grant. The Cowgirls are primed to make a run in the Big 12 tournament and hopefully in the NCAA tournament as well.
From a team on the verge of making a big dance to a team that's been in the last 8 seasons, Cowgirl softball is back into their dominating ways as they took on West Texas A&M. Our very own Emmanuel Siafa breaks down the action.
Cowgirls softball put on a dominating performance against West Texas A&M to get the 13-1 exposition win. With their win over West Texas A&M, the Cowgirls remain perfect during their fall ball schedule with a 6-0 record, beating their opponents by a combined margin of 74-2. Carly Goodwin hits her first home run of the fall season, along going 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. Throughout the game, the Pokes used 6 pitchers. The 10 innings of work distributed almost evenly by their pitching staff. Together, the pitchers gave up 5 hits, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts. The Cowgirls' attack has generated 22 hits, 13 RBIs, and 2 walks in their ongoing dominance in the fall ball scoring. Throughout the game, 14 different Cowgirls had a hit, while 7 batters had multiple hits. In the contest, 9 Cowgirls record RBIs. The Orange and Black Series will wrap up the Fall Exposition Series on Wednesday and Thursday, October 23rd and 24th at 6 p.m., both at Cowgirl Stadium. Reporting from Stillwater, Emmanuel K. Siafa, The Poke Report.
Cowgirl softball just keeps getting closer and closer to returning for spring.
A big part of that Cowgirl softball team is Cheyenne Factor. The former Cowgirl outfielder, now Director of Player Development, is leading the new generation of Cowgirls off the field. Dalton Arredondo explains the impact of this new hire.
One of the top 16. Cheyenne Factor.
Cheyenne Factor left her mark on Oklahoma State softball as a star player, but now she's back, this time as a staff member. Her presence is already being felt both on and off the field.
You know, I just told her, hey, we'd love to have you. I love the professional side of it that she brings. She's a big asset to our staff.
As Director of Player Development, Factor guides players off the field and helps Coach Gajewski stay connected with the team.
So we're doing a lot of community service things, a lot of things that she can be very involved in these kids' lives. And when you're doing things like that and you're around them away from the field, that's the time that they kind of become a little more vulnerable and open up and can talk. And then it gives me some insight on how kids are doing. And she can do that in a way that's not, that she's not losing trust with our current team.
Factor's farewell came in 2023 and a year later joined the staff. And now some of her teammates get to experience a full circle moment, one of them being Talon Edwards.
We need Cheyenne Factor here. Like, we need her, whether she's in a uniform or on our staff. Like, we need Cheyenne Factor here once again for that mellow part. I know that she does that for the staff too now.
For Factor, coaching wasn't her first plan after graduating. In fact, she almost left the sport for good.
I never wanted to coach. I never wanted to. I was interviewing all last spring for medical sales, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to do that just yet. I don't know if I want to go get like an actual job like right away. The player development ended up opening up, and it kind of just fell into place perfectly, honestly. So I'm grateful for this, and I'm just grateful to be here still.
Factor's experience bridges the gap between staff and team. She's staying close with her former teammates while balancing friend and mentor roles.
One of my things that was most important to me as I was playing is that I was a good teammate and that they trusted me. So I think that being that for them as a teammate, it's a little bit easier, you know, as a staff. I feel like they still trust me now. So I think that was kind of an easy transition.
For the Cowgirls, Factor's return is more than just a new role on staff. It's about building trust, fostering leadership, and continuing the legacy of OSU softball. For the Polk Report, I'm Dalton Arredondo.
Thanks for that, Dalton. As always, former players continue to remain loyal and true to OSU, and Cheyenne is a perfect example of that.
Coming up on the Polk Report, QB play is a contentious discussion at the moment.
Ron rejoins us as we break down our picks for the Week 8 college slate. We'll be right back.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges, inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back to the Polk Report. With OU heading to the SEC, the schedule seems a little bare without the rivalry.
Peyton, since we lost Bedlam, there's been a team I feel like can become a new rival for the Pokes in more than one sport. Let's check in with Daniel Allen to see what the Cowboys have been cooking up on the diamond.
College baseball is back. Well, kind of. The fall baseball season is in full swing as teams continue to develop their rosters ahead of their 2025 spring season. Oklahoma State is near the midway point of its fall season. Over the weekend, the Cowboys traveled to Fayetteville, Arkansas, SEC territory, to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks at Bob Walker Stadium.
The Cowboys and Razorbacks commenced their fall exhibition series Friday night. Bottom half of the frame, Arkansas recorded 4 straight singles for 2 runs. And 2 outs later came an RBI double to put the Hogs up 4-1 through 2 innings of play. Arkansas took Game 1 8-1 behind an 18 strikeout performance from its pitching staff. OSU was held to just 2 hits on the day.
Whenever we set out to come over and compete against somebody else side by side. That's what we set out to do. We also set out to learn and play well, and we certainly learned, and at times played well, and have a lot to work on.
Cowboys head coach Josh Halliday confirmed to reporters after Saturday's finale that his team's weekend in Fayetteville would be its only remaining exhibition series or game against another team this fall. OSU does play a 3-game inter-squad series this weekend at home from Friday through Sunday. You can catch the Cowboys this weekend at their home confines. Until then, with the Poke Report, I'm Daniel Allen.
Thanks for that, Daniel. For selfish reasons, I want this to be a rivalry so bad.
We get it, Steve. You like the Razorbacks. You even had a chance to see them lose in person in Stillwater.
We don't talk about those things, baby.
Don't be sore loser now, Steve. But since we are talking about football, the Cowboys are coming off of a bye week, and rumors swirling around the quarterback position have fans wanting to know more. Our very own Devin Bloomer gives us the lowdown on the quarterback controversy and who may be behind the center this week.
We are 8 weeks into the college football season, and this year hasn't been what was expected from the Cowboys. Coming into the season, Oklahoma State had expectations to compete for the Big 12 championship and potentially a playoff spot. Now going into their 4th conference game, things aren't looking too great for the Pokes. Going into this Friday night game at BYU, the Cowboys are 0-3 in conference play, but being winless in the Big 12 isn't the biggest story heading into this game.
The quarterback position is arguably the most important position when it comes to football, and over halfway into the season, this has the biggest question mark to it for Cowboy football.
Alan Bowman has been the starter for the Cowboys since week 3 of last season, but Bowman hasn't looked the best this year, which sparked up a quarterback battle going into the bye week. And now we await who is named the starter for BYU. The next guy up looks to be Garrett Rangel, as he's came in a few times this season after Bowman was benched against Utah and West Virginia. Rangel is a redshirt sophomore and was part of the quarterback battle last season that took place all the way up to conference play. Rangel has had his ups and downs in his limited snaps this season. Redshirt freshman Zane Flores is another option to start this week. Flores has yet to see the field for OSU, but he is a fan favorite to potentially start. Flores was the #1 quarterback recruit out of Nebraska and was a huge signing for the Cowboys. Last guy that could potentially see some reps is true freshman Malawaki Smith. Smith is a 3-star recruit from California that hasn't suited up for a game yet this season. Fans of the Cowboys will be waiting in anticipation to see which of these quarterbacks start under center for BYU in hopes that the quarterback problem is solved for future games. For the Poke Report, I'm Devin Bloomer.
Thanks for that, Devin. We definitely need improved play from that position if we want a chance to pull off the upset here on the road.
That's right. The offense has to get back on the right foot, and it starts with QB play. But Peyton, we're going to go ahead and welcome back in our guest Ron for our pick segment, which you may or may not have a slight lead in at the moment.
That's right, Steve. I do have a very big lead on.
No. It's slight.
Before we get into the picks, what are some quick keys to the game for BYU?
Stopping the run. Ollie Gordon can run the football. Last year rushed for 1,700 yards. Got to apply pressure, stop the run game. Then offensively, you got to establish your run. Oklahoma State has struggled at times on the defensive line, so you're going to have to set up the play-action game by running the football.
I think my keys are going to be the exact opposite. We have to get our running game back going. Ollie Gordon is on a milk carton right now. I think there was a stat that came out that said that before yards of contact, last year it was like 3.6 before he got touched. This year is 0.5. So we have to scheme a way to get him open and to get him back to being Ollie. Also, we need our defensive line to step up. It's been atrocious with the substitutions that we have right now. So I definitely think that we have to get that back up and running. Also, we have to get adjusted to this weather. It's going to be raining and cold tomorrow. Also, altitude is going to be a difference for our players. So if we can get that taken care of, I think we should be able to pull the upset. Well, since we're here and because the location may have an impact on the game, we thought we'd check in with our expert Braden Garris, who joins us from LaVelle Edwards Stadium to show us how the location and break down what's in store for the Cowboys. Now, Braden, this is a bucket list location for many fans to visit. How may this impact the game for the Cowboys?
Yeah, Steve, this is going to be an incredible atmosphere come game time. And we're out here in the mountains. When you think about the mountains, you got to think about the altitude. We're 4,650 feet above sea level. This could cause an issue for the Pokes if they're not prepared accordingly. The major factor in this game is the weather, obviously. It's going to be 42 degrees outside with a slight chance of rain come game time. Another major factor in this is the student section. The student section, which is right behind me, it's called the Rock. It's called the Rock because they're rocking at all moments of all games. BYU loves to bring it just like we love to bring it, so they will be interesting to see how the Pokes can handle it. This environment is going to be unbelievable. I can't wait for the game, Steve. It's going to be awesome. Let's send it back to you.
Thanks to Brady.
Now, welcome back to the set, Ron. Something we do that is special for us is we have a segment called the Pick'ems where we pick all the top games for the weekend, and we'd love for you to help us pick those games.
Okay, let's pick them.
All right, we're going to go ahead and start with probably one of the games of the week. Alabama and Tennessee. Who you got?
I'm actually going to take Tennessee. I'm going to take the upset in this one at home. I think Tennessee will beat Alabama week 8.
That's crazy because I'm also going to go Tennessee. After seeing the way that South Carolina put pressure on Bama, I think they might just have a little bit more of a scheme figured out, and I'm going to just pick the Vols.
I'm going to go against you guys right there. I'm going to go ahead and pick Bama. Now, I did watch this Tennessee team lose to Arkansas, so there are some cracks there. I'm not giving Alabama a pass because they have been struggling with Kevin DeBoer as head coach. Second game we're going to go ahead and pick is going to be Texas and Georgia. It's a really good game.
I know people might not like this, but I'm going to put the horns up. I have to say that I think Texas is the real deal. It doesn't matter whether it's Quinn Ewers, whether it's Archie Manning. The offense is clicking. The defense is clicking. I got Texas beating Georgia.
I'm so glad you said that, Ron. You can probably stay and pick the rest of the games with us. I'm from Austin. I love the Texas Longhorns. I'm going to give Texas the win at home. I just think the home vibe against Georgia is going to be tough for Georgia's offense and their defense. The secondary for Texas has been killing it this season, so give me the Horns.
I'd never take a chance to throw the Horns down because I'm not going with Texas this game. I'm going to go with Georgia. I think coming off the loss to Alabama, they're on a mission to prove something this year. So we have Michigan, Illinois. Who you guys got?
Well, as being from the state of Illinois, being from Chicago, I think I have pretty good insight in this. I'm going to have to go with Michigan, though. Going to go with the Wolverines. I think Michigan gets the win.
Okay, I'm going to go with Illinois. I just think that Michigan is a lot weaker of a team than what people are kind of hyping them up to be. So give me the Illinois.
Unfortunately, I have to pick with Peyton and go with the Illinois Fighting Illini because I think that Michigan lost a lot from that team last year. And they don't move the ball through the air. It's all with the run game. So I think Illinois can key in on that and kind of stop the run and shut them out. Colorado, Arizona. Who you guys got?
Ooh, this is tough, right? Because BYU just got done playing Arizona. And Noah Fafita is a very good quarterback, very elusive in the pocket. Probably one of the most difficult quarterbacks to bring down in the Big 12. But got to rock with Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. They're the real deal. Primetime, baby. I'm going to take Colorado over Arizona.
All right, I am going to pick Arizona. I just think Colorado has their ups and downs. And although they do have some very key players like Shedeur and Travis Hunter, I just think Arizona is going to get the better half of them.
I definitely do not think that. I'm going with Colorado. Arizona's, they got the upset win over Utah earlier this season, but I don't see them getting the win over Colorado, especially after taking a loss last week. I think Colorado bounces back. And the game we're all here to see, OSU BYU. We kind of got an inkling where you're thinking about going this week, but who you got?
This is tough, right? BYU opens up as an 8.5-point favorite. I think it's moved to 9, back to 8.5 so much. Interesting fact, Oklahoma State, every time for the last 5 games they've been unranked and they've played a ranked opponent, they've won. I mentioned earlier on your show that Ollie Gordon, he's a great running back, right? There's no doubt about it, even if he's not having a good season. But I still think I'm going to take BYU to cover in this game and win the game. I think BYU is playing at a different level. This team is humble. They're hungry. But that doesn't mean that the Pokes can't come in here and get a victory. The last time there was weather that affected the game when BYU played, they had 4 turnovers. They fumbled the ball 3 times, and Boise State was able to get a win. So final answer, BYU, but it's going to be a good game on Friday.
This might not be appropriate for our show, but I am going to pick BYU over OSU solely based on the fact that BYU is undefeated. Their quarterback is amazing. They're firing on all cylinders. I just think OSU has had a little bit too much adversity, and they're not sure how to handle it. And then again, we have some trouble at quarterback, and Ollie Gordon has been stopped and held to a few yards. I'm gonna say BYU.
I don't think Paige's gonna be allowed back on campus with that answer. And I think, Ron, you just gave us reasons we're actually going to win this game on Friday night. I think OSU gets it back going. I think Ollie Gordon has a surprise turnaround game and actually closes it out for the Cowboys on Friday night at BYU at nighttime.
And that says a lot because we know the Vampire Cougars, they like to call them, come out at night. So if Oklahoma State is able to win at night in Provo, that's a big win.
That is a big win.
That Cougar got shot this week, so.
We want to thank Ron for coming on to our show and helping us with this weekend's game picks and also finding those keys to the game. That's all the time we have for this week's show at Beautiful BYU. But we want to thank all the faculty and staff that have helped us this week.
I couldn't have said it any better, Peyton. Check in with us next week for more on all things Cowboy athletics. For the Poke Report, I'm Steve Spears.
And I'm Peyton Schmidt. Go Pokes.